I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be invite her to have a drink. Got an email here from a viewer. He said, "Dear Corey, I would describe myself as naturally good with women. I'm described as handsome, funny, but also hard to read." And he puts in parentheses, which I found is like catnip to women, but I'm slightly aloof naturally, so it's not fake. Yeah, I mean, it's not so much that you're distant or you're cold or you ignore them or that you're aloof. You're just simply, if you're a busy, successful guy, you're busy focused on your career and your purpose in life, and you just simply don't get caught up in the little mundane details of day-to-day life or expressing your emotions and your feelings and puking out all this stuff the moment you instantly meet a woman, like most guys do, because they've been brainwashed into thinking that they've got to talk about their emotions and their feelings, and they got to get all their baggage out and talking about all their problems and all the things that have gone wrong and all the girlfriends that dumped them in the past before they ask a girl out on a date. And so at the end of the day, when you realize it's a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear, instead of volunteering everything about yourself to a woman, you let her ask you. And this has two benefits by making a woman ask things as opposed to you volunteering it. First off, by her asking you things instead of you volunteering them, that enables you to be and remain mysterious. And so therefore, the only way she can find out anything about you is that she has to ask you. And that causes a woman to be curious about you. It causes her to think of you as being mysterious. And women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear, or guys who they can't figure out, or guys who they can't have their way with. And the second benefit by you not volunteering it is this. If a girl really likes you and she's really interested in you, she's going to ask these things. She's going to want to know about you as well because you're just as curious about her. Now, the important thing to remember is if a woman really is not that interested in you, because a lot of guys make the mistake of projecting their high level of attraction and interest onto a woman, and usually they ignore the fact or any signs or indicators that there's any kind of interest on her part reciprocated in any way, and so the typical guy ignores that. So that's why this is also very important. If you don't volunteer everything, there's no way for her really to find out unless she asks you. And if she's never asked you anything about yourself ever, then it's a pretty good indication that she's really not into you as a person and who you really are. And it's important to notice those things and to be observant of that, because that's obviously a red flag when you don't see those things. So he says, since my early 20s, he says, now I'm 32, I have had no problems attracting women as lovers and have had pretty much always had options at one time or another when I am single. But recently I've encountered situations that personally have never seemed to be an issue before. I'm a writer and I work in a professional theater where social lives and professional lives blur easily. I mean, yeah, you look at actors and actresses, how do most of those people meet each other? Well, usually the guy ends up playing the love interest and she plays his love interest on screen, and since they have to act, they have to develop chemistry on screen. They're making out, they're fooling around together. It's pretty easy to get to know somebody like that when you're pretty much buck naked in bed with them all day filming a scene. You're going to develop chemistry, you're going to develop rapport. It's pretty hard not to. And that's why you see a lot of actors that tend to hook up with other fellow actors just because of the nature of the business. You get a bunch of good-looking, attractive, successful people around one another, and chemistry is naturally going to happen. So he says, so he's a writer and he works in a professional theater, and he moved to a major city for professional theater at the beginning of this year, where what has begun, or what he's about to tell us about, started to happen. He says, I'm around and I work with very attractive women constantly. It's like, what a bitch for you. I'm really sorry that you have to work with beautiful women all day. I know it's a real challenge. It's a real problem. But I'm sure you'll fight your way through it. He says, but my problem is with a specific type who I see as a possible relationship material and not the easy, lazy, crazy type that are also common here. Now, I'm regarded as a writer of high standard, and so while that probably influences the attention I get from these women at first and elevates me slightly in these circles I described, I find myself in the position of these women, even after getting to know me and being comfortable around me, still almost becoming a little reverent of me in relation to them professionally. Yeah, because you're in an alpha position. You're in a leadership position. You're the guy that's a screenwriter. You're obviously involved in the production, and you're the one that's kind of leading the show, and that's an aphrodisiac to women. If you're a public speaker, or you're in a band, or you're an actor, or you're a comedian, or if you lead people in general, if you run a business, or you're a manager in some way, it puts you in a position of authority and leadership, and this creates attraction naturally with women. And so when a woman sees you talking or running the show, so to speak, or being in a leadership position, they just automatically assume, because you're in that position, that you must be important, you must be special, you must be a leader, and obviously you're probably already kind of pre-selected in a way with other women. And so therefore, you're probably a catch, because if you were weak and you were a beta male, you wouldn't be in a position of leadership. And so it's like it gets all the BS out of the way. So if there's a crowd of people, women are naturally going to be more attracted to the most dominant male. Well, who's the most dominant one? Well, he's usually the guy running the show. He's usually the leader. And so when you do things like this, you're already got a leg up versus everybody else that's around you. So anytime you can put yourself in a position of leadership, whether it's at a party and you're in charge of making sure the keg is flowing and there's plenty of beer flowing, or you're giving a talk for 3,000 people. If you're in a position of leadership, it's going to create lots of great opportunities for you, where women will just come up and start flirting with you and talking with you and hoping that you'll create an opportunity for sex to have with them by making a date, inviting them out to meet up with a drink. He says, and while they behave in the typical manner of high interest, suggesting spending time with me, blowing up my phone, essentially chasing, it's clear that they're not going to communicate anything physically in the early stages in case they jeopardize a potential working relationship they may have with me now or in the future. Yeah, well, the reason being, and I say this all the time, is that women will put themselves into your orbit, and they'll communicate things here and there like these girls are doing, like you're describing here, that communicates that they're interested, but they're not going to come right out and ask you out on a date. That's still, women want guys to know what to do. They want, if they put themselves into your orbit and make it known that they're interested in you, they still expect you to be a man, set up an opportunity for sex to happen, and like this, I say all the time, the seduction process is you get closer and closer and closer until you end up inside of her eventually. But you got to keep in mind, you're the one with the penis, and so it's up to you to gently lead things to where you want them to go. You can't expect women to assume the role of the man in the relationship, and you wouldn't want them to do that either. But they'll make their interest known like they're doing to you, but they're not going to come out and ask you out on a date. It's up to you to take advantage of the signs when you see them, and it sounds like these girls are giving you quite a few signs. He says, I'm not their boss, and they're not my employees, but it almost seems recently to have that vibe to it. It's almost ridiculous. Should I just step up in these situations and take it from there if I want things to happen or sooner? Yes. Invite them to meet you out for a drink when they're giving you all these kind of signals. He says, or just keep doing what I'm doing until they break, essentially communicating sexual interest, and just accept that this will always take longer given the circumstance. Absolutely not. If they're giving you indications that they're interested, you got to remember, these are women. Women aren't going to, 99% of the time, they're not going to ask you out on a date. In essence, so these girls are expressing interest, and you're expecting to, on top of expressing interest, to go ahead and ask you out on a date. And that's just simply not going to happen in most cases. He says, I closed a woman off emotionally earlier in the year by not reciprocating her interest, and I ended up making her feel stupid and ultimately uncomfortable. It was a specific situation where I didn't read the signals wrong, because she was someone who was actually important to me professionally and was superior in the industry. He says, when I realized that she was attracted to me and not just admiring my work or interested in me professionally, it was too late, and where she had opened herself up to me, I was distant. He said it was stupid, really, because I was interested in her, and it was a mess. That's why I say this all the time. When you were interested in a chick, pull the trigger. Get rejected then. Don't be going on about this shit for 6 months or hiding your interest, thinking that you're fooling them by not revealing it. But you in actuality make yourself look weak, and make yourself look like a beta male when you carry around interest but you never do anything about it, because women can pretty much tell when you're interested in them. He says, anyway, I didn't want to do that again with a new girl who I've recently got to know through working together on a future project. She's amazing and really has her shit together. Great outlook, good family, good friends, etc. But there's the same dynamics as I have described in the third paragraphs. Her interest level seems to be going up, and she's getting more and more comfortable with me, it seems, which, unlike the previous situation, I'm managing it well. But it's clear as day by some of the things she says that she considers me higher than her, and my concern is if I don't indicate my romantic interest, hers will drop in me. And you're right, it absolutely will drop if you keep sitting on your hands and doing nothing. You just basically you make yourself look like a male who's too weak to take advantage of the opportunities because he doesn't have confidence in himself. And when a woman starts to realize the reason you're not asking her out is not because you're not interested, it's because you lack the confidence or you don't know what to do. Either way, you're going to get rejected when you hesitate and you wait too long like you're doing. He says, as long as you remain open to a female through work or you make her feel comfortable, they naturally come across that boundary, or will they let you know explicitly when you should? No, at the end of the day, you're the one with the penis. You're the man in the relationship. It's up to you. If these girls are giving you all kinds of interest like you're saying they're doing, you just say, hey, why don't we get together and meet up for a drink later? When are you free? And it doesn't mean like later tonight. It could mean like later in the week. You just say, hey, I think you're an amazing woman. I'd really like to get together and have a drink with you sometime. When are you free to get together? That's all you got to say. That's the only thing that's missing from what you're doing here, Chief, which is just inviting her for a drink. And if they like you, they'll make a date. And if they don't, they'll give you an excuse or that they're not sure or that kind of thing. But if these girls are giving you all these signals like you say they are, then you should pretty much know that they're going to say yes when you ask them out. But it just sounds from what you shared here like you're expecting them to be the man in the relationship and actually ask you out on a date, maybe go for the kiss and seduce you and take all your clothes off and put you inside them. I mean, maybe that's what you're expecting. I mean, it'll happen occasionally every once in a while, but that's not how women operate. And if you keep going the way you're going, you're just going to be sitting there in friend zone and not getting anywhere and wasting great opportunities that you're getting. So if you have a question you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several days to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link that will take you right to the Amazon download page. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for your smartphone, tablet device, or your computer. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these video newsletters and the articles on my website and my ebook, you can show your appreciation by going to my website right now, and on the Webby toolbar at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.